Ever heard of a civilization that not only thrived for over 3,000 years, but did so in the heart of a rainforest, crafting intricate calendars and pioneering the use of zero? Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of the ancient Mayans.
It's a story that really challenges our perceptions of history, moving beyond the image of just pyramids and jungles.
Absolutely. Now, I know the Mayans are famous for those iconic pyramids, but where should we really begin our exploration?
Well, to understand their achievements, we need to first understand their world Mesoamerica, a region spanning parts of modern-day Mexico and Central America. The Mayans weren't a unified empire, but rather a network of independent city-states, kind of like ancient Greece, each with their own rulers and vying for power.
Okay, so a bit of political drama sprinkled in. But before we get to the rivalries and power struggles, let's talk about those achievements. What were some of the things that made the Mayans so remarkable?
One of their most notable achievements was their writing system. Imagine a language made up of over 800 hieroglyphs, intricate symbols that represent words or even sounds. This wasn't just a way to jot down grocery lists. They recorded their history, their beliefs, even complex astronomical observations.
Wow, 800 hieroglyphs. That's incredible. Speaking of astronomy, that's another area where the Mayans really seem to excel. What can you tell us about their fascination with the cosmos?
The Mayans were keen observers of the sky, and their understanding of celestial movements was incredibly advanced for their time. They didn't just track the sun and moon. They mapped out the movements of planets, predicted eclipses, and even developed their own sophisticated calendar system, the long count, which spanned millennia and was incredibly accurate.
I've heard about this long count calendar. What made it so special? Was it just about keeping track of time?
It was about much more than that. The long count was cyclical, reflecting their belief in the cyclical nature of time and the cosmos. It wasn't just a practical tool, but deeply intertwined with their cosmology and beliefs.
That's fascinating. So we've got this civilization with a complex writing system, a deep understanding of astronomy, and these independent city-states spread across a vast region. It really paints a picture of a sophisticated society.
Yeah.
But how did all of this come about? Where did this all begin?
Well, we need to go back to the pre-classic period, roughly 2000 BCE, to see the seeds of Mayan civilization being sown. This is when we see those early Mayan villages transitioning into larger settlements, laying the groundwork for the cities that would define their classic period.
Okay, so the pre-classic period is like the foundation upon which everything else is built. What were some of the key advancements that emerged during this time?
It was during this period that their writing system began to develop, and we also see evidence of their early calendar systems. Essentially, this era was about laying the groundwork, refining their agricultural practices, experimenting with architecture, and establishing trade networks that would later fuel their expansion.
And it's during this period that they also began to really flourish in terms of population and the size of their cities, right?
Exactly. And that takes us to what's often considered the pinnacle of Mayan civilization, the classic period, beginning around 250 CE. This is when those magnificent cities, places like Tikal and Palenque, truly came into their own. Imagine cities boasting monumental architecture, intricate artwork, and populations rivaling any major city in the world at that time. Tikal, for instance, had a population that might have reached 90,000 people.
Wow, 90,000 people. That's mind-boggling. Building a city of that scale, even today, presents challenges. But to do it in the heart of a rainforest, that must have required some seriously advanced urban planning and resource management.
Absolutely. The logistics involved in sustaining such a large population in that environment were remarkable. They had sophisticated systems for water management, agriculture, and construction, all without the use of metal tools or wheeled vehicles.
It's incredible to imagine these bustling cities, these hubs of innovation and culture thriving in the rainforest. But as we know, the classic period didn't last forever. What led to the decline of this remarkable civilization?
It's a question that has captivated scholars for centuries, and there's no single easy answer. It wasn't a sudden collapse, like a light switch being flipped, but more of a slow unraveling, a decline brought about by a confluence of factors.
So, a perfect storm of challenges. What were some of the key theories that historians have put forward?
One prominent theory centers around environmental change. Imagine prolonged periods of drought, perhaps lasting decades, impacting their ability to grow crops and access water. For a society heavily reliant on agriculture, that kind of environmental stress could have had a devastating ripple effect.
It makes you think about the delicate balance between a civilization and its environment, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And in the Mayans' case, there's also evidence pointing to deforestation, particularly around their larger cities. Remember those massive populations and the demand for timber. It's possible that their need for resources, combined with drought, put unsustainable pressure on the rainforest.
So a double whammy of environmental challenges. Were there other factors at play as well?
Yes. And this is where things get even more complex. Remember how we talked about the Mayans being divided into city-states? Well, while this system worked for centuries, over time it also seems to have led to increased competition and even warfare between cities.
So instead of working together, they were fighting amongst themselves,
Yeah.
further draining their resources and exacerbating the effects of those environmental challenges.
Precisely. It's a pattern we see throughout history, isn't it? Internal strife often weakens a civilization, making it more vulnerable to external pressures. And when it comes to internal pressures, we also have to consider the possibility of social unrest. These city-states were ruled by elites who controlled resources and power. It's conceivable that over time, resentment grew among the lower classes, potentially leading to uprisings or a breakdown in social order.
It's like a powder keg of tensions. And then you have these environmental and political challenges acting as the spark.
A very apt analogy. And it's important to note that these weren't isolated incidents, but interconnected factors, each one feeding into the other and ultimately contributing to a decline that played out over generations.
It's a reminder that even the most sophisticated civilizations are not immune to the challenges posed by environmental change, social unrest, or political instability. It's a complex and often sobering story. But amidst this decline, the Mayans also left behind an enduring legacy, didn't they? A legacy that continues to inspire and intrigue us centuries later.
They left behind so much. Their mark on our world is evident in ways you might not expect.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What is their legacy? What echoes of their civilization can we still see today?
Well, for one, we can look at their mathematical achievements. They were brilliant mathematicians, developing a sophisticated number system that included the concept of zero.
I've always found that fascinating, the concept of zero. It seems so simple, yet it was groundbreaking for its time.
Exactly. And this wasn't just some abstract mathematical idea, it had a profound impact on math, paving the way for advancements in fields like astronomy, engineering, and even computer science.
Wow. So much of what we take for granted today has roots in the ancient world. It's truly remarkable.
And their intellectual contributions. They weren't limited to mathematics. Remember those 800 hieroglyphs? The Mayans meticulously documented their knowledge in these intricate symbols. Their writings weren't just about rulers or conquests. They recorded their understanding of astronomy, mathematics, botany, and even their spiritual beliefs. These records offer us invaluable insights into their worldview and intellectual achievements.
It's like piecing together a puzzle, using their writings and those incredible structures to get a glimpse into their lives and their understanding of the world.
Precisely. And speaking of those structures, their architectural legacy is undeniable. Those awe-inspiring pyramids, temples, and palaces scattered across Mesoamerica, they weren't simply feats of engineering. They were expressions of their cosmology, their understanding of the universe and their place within it. The scale and precision of these structures, built without modern tools, still amaze us today.
It's a testament to their ingenuity and understanding of mathematics and astronomy, isn't it? To create structures that align with celestial events, that must have taken a deep knowledge of the stars.
Absolutely. And this fascination with the Mayans, this desire to understand their civilization, it didn't end with those early explorers. Even today, new discoveries are being made. Technologies like LIDAR, which uses lasers to map the terrain from the air, are revealing previously unknown cities and settlements hidden beneath the jungle canopy. We're only just beginning to grasp the true scale and complexity of their civilization.
It's like a whole new chapter in their stories unfolding right before our eyes.
Yeah.
But what about the human legacy? The Mayans weren't just an ancient civilization lost to time, were they?
No, not at all. Millions of Mayan descendants live throughout Central America today. They've kept their cultural heritage alive, passing down traditions, languages, and stories through generations. Their resilience in the face of challenges, from colonization to modernization, is a testament to the enduring spirit of their culture.
It's a powerful reminder that history isn't just about dusty ruins and ancient texts. It's about the living legacy passed down through generations. It's about the unbroken threads connecting us to the past, their story, their achievements, their struggles. They offer us a unique lens through which we can examine our own relationship with the environment, with each other, and with the vast mysteries of time.
Indeed. It makes you wonder, what will our own civilization leave behind? What will future generations uncover about our lives, our values, our achievements, and our failures?
It's a question worth pondering. The Mayans remind us that even amidst the rise and fall of empires, the pursuit of knowledge, the power of innovation, and the resilience of the human spirit. Well, those are legacies that can truly stand the test of time. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.